Guests are seated. I'll introduce them right after this break.
One night, 100 leading companies, 100 coveted business awards. This is the Ghana Club 100, powered by GIPC. It's time to honor Ghanaian companies that have stood the test of time, made an impact, and are blazing the trail in their respective industries. Join us for the 21st edition of the Ghana Club 100 Awards on Friday, October 25th, 2024 at 6 p.m. at the Palms at La Palm Royal Beach Hotel. Purchase your tickets now via the USSD short code *365*2100#. Alternatively, you can call 0243-534-559 or 0247-600-860 to RSVP. This event is under the auspices of the Office of the President, Ranking Partner, KPMG, Ticket Partner, Cover, Diamond Sponsors, Platinum Sponsors, Gold Sponsors, Supporting Sponsors, Beverage Sponsors, Media Partners. Ghana Club 100, celebrating Ghana's business leaders.
Welcome back. If you just joined us, you're watching the GIPC live series. This is the Club 100 edition. And as I mentioned, my guests are seated. Would like to do a quick introduction. Who should I start from? Okay, let me just start from Bernard. Bernard Jakpasu is from KPMG, and we have Mehia Olovi, who is also with the GIPC. But I'll give them the shot to introduce themselves, and so that we can proceed. Bernard, over to you.
Right, thank you very much. It's a privilege to be here. I'm Bernard Jakpasu, rightly said. I'm a manager with KPMG's advisory wing. So one man asks, what's KPMG? What do we do at KPMG? We hear KPMG, what do we do there? So it's a partnership in Ghana, registered here, and it's a member of a global network of firms. We serve both local and international clients. And what do? We have the vision of being and to sustain being at the top with our clients, with our people, and then with our communities, making them better in every day. We have a range of services from audit through to advisory and tax services. In short, in a nutshell, we are a one-stop shop for all business solutions.
That was a short one indeed. Okay, thank you very much, Bernard. Lovey, GIPC.
Thank you for having me. I'm with the Research and Business Development Division of the Ghana Investment Promotion Center. I essentially deputize for the head of the Research and Business Development Division. That's Miss Eugenia Autry. So I'm pretty much honored to stand in her stead to discuss issues concerning the GC 100.
All righty. Can you share a little experience of the Club 100, how you've been involved in it, what you think the motivation was for GIPC to even start the award scheme in the first place? What has been the motivation and what has been your involvement in it so far?
I quite remember fondly my first Ghana Club 100 event with GIPC when I joined the GIPC, and it was quite an exciting experience and quite revealing and telling.
Right.
The Ghana Club 100 was actually launched in 1998 by the then CEO.
You're obviously not here. You're obviously
I was still probably now getting to I was just about to complete junior high.
Wow.
Yeah. GSS then, right? So I at that time I probably had no idea, but having joined GIPC, I got to know about it, that it was launched by the then CEO in 1998. That's Honorable Kwesi Ahoy. Essentially, the Ghana Club 100 was launched to serve as a benchmark for good corporate governance, basically serving as a benchmark for the top performing companies in Ghana. And then you could also look at the benefit of it in that it could serve as an example to other companies to improve their performance. Essentially, you would understand that the bulk of companies in this country are SMEs. We have over 80% of companies being SMEs,
right.
but it's very critical that they are propped up to a certain level to be able to generate the jobs and then the investments and the kind of productivity that we desire as a country. So the Ghana Club 100, apart from being a benchmark of the top performing companies, serves as some kind of example for other companies operating within the investment space, and then also improve their competitiveness on the global stage.
Okay. Okay. So Bernard, what has it been for you? You are fairly new on the execution of this Club 100, because I know that it has evolved from various ranking consultants and all of that. But what has been your own experience jumping onto this award scheme? What has been the experience for you guys?
Okay, so KPMG has been around for the 19th, 20th, and this time around the 21st edition. And from, our stakeholder engagement, meeting with the team here, having some conversations, there's an underpinning of that GIPC is trying to create something like a domino effect in our entire business climate, in the sense that we are creating a framework, we are creating support, we are showcasing Ghana's creme de la creme, and we are telling the others that this is what they've done to get here. So we are trying to tell that if you want to get here, there are some things these folks have done to get here. So it's more about setting the business context for every other business. These are the top 100.
But listen, is this? Do you think it's relevant? Because per what we have done so far, we understand that. Sometimes it's difficult to get to rope in companies that we think should be part of the Club 100. In your experience, between you and I, we know. Is this relevant for companies? Do you think it's relevant for companies?
Yes.
Are you sure?
It's very important for companies to be enlisted as GIPC's top 100 companies in the country. I believe if you're an investor, your first point of call is GIPC. So if you come to the GIPC, you want to have a conversation, you're interested in a particular space, and then you mention something, you tell that these are, according to our sectors, these are the top 100 in the country. So it becomes you're the first point of call.
Are they the top 100? Is the question I really want us to.
Are they the top 100?
Are they the top 100?
Interesting question.
Top 100?
Interesting question, and I'll take the question, and then I'll feedback on that. So, given the GIPC's framework, given the call for companies, yes, one will argue that if I didn't come, I didn't stand a chance to be even given the opportunity to be called top 100.
Absolutely. So are they the top 100?
So I'll answer your question. Let's take the 100-meter dash. I'm a fan of athletics.
Okay.
Probably somebody exists or somebody lives that's faster than Usain Bolt. But the point is, once you didn't stand on the stage, he's been given that light to stand as the fastest man alive with a 9.58 seconds. So maybe you can be running an 8 or a 7. But who's seeing you? So GIPC is giving you the platform, the frame, and giving you the light that we are saying, hey, you are in our top 100. And that's what it is to everyone. That the fair point was given to everyone, and you didn't stand the chance, or you didn't come. You didn't come to do that. So,
but like there are companies that we expect.
Right.
You do without saying. There are. I don't want to mention names, but there are companies that we expect to be part of the Club 100 that do not show. How does that impact the 100 rankings that we claim to rank? The 100 companies that we claim to rank, because we have had interactions with investors, that know of certain companies, but are surprised that these companies are not. You claim that you have a top 100 ranking. How come these big guys are not part of it? How does this impact our own list of 100 companies that we provide? So this is for all of us.
Well,
Yeah, I mean, for me, it's one of the challenges that I've had. You know, there's a certain, like you rightly pointed out, you have been given the platform. So once you don't show, you don't show. You don't get counted.
exactly.
However, would you have a Rolls Royce advertising?
I will piggyback on Bernard's
All right.
statement. You see, you've been given the limelight.
Right.
You've been given the opportunity to participate, to make an entry,
Right.
but then you did not participate or make an entry. Other companies have taken advantage of it and made entries. And various criteria is used in assessing and then making the ranking. At the end of the day, the ranking comes out. Various benefits come with it, being ranked on in the GC 100.
Right.
Aside the numerous benefits that we've already made mention of, another one has to do with the fact that it provides an opportunity to engage with government at the highest level.
Right.
And you know the significance of policy to the investment environment.
Okay.
All right. So at the end of the day, the fact that companies have been given the opportunity to make entries, and those that do not take advantage of it, it in no way has an impact on
the list.
The list.
Okay.
The list has been made. The benefits are there. The companies that are ranked in the Club 100 stand to be or enjoying the limelight as GC 100 ranked companies.
Right. Okay.
All right.
Okay, Bernard, what do you think?
So your question is very interesting. So I'm thinking the current conversation is on, so that it looks like some people that don't even show up for the awards and are not even ranked.
Yes.
Still stand a chance, looks like, to gain the benefits those who stand get. So they then not see why they should stand.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean it's an interesting point to stand on. I mean, coming from where you're speaking on, because you're now looking at it from the benefits the companies and the 100 bring to the nation and to the GIPC,
Absolutely.
as well as your value proposition to them. So in the instance where a company feels that the value proposition to them doesn't outweigh their value to you,
exactly.
you don't see the essence. So I'm trying to define what the problem statement or as I'll say the context is. So as you rightly began to say, we will have to relook at the value proposition we are selling to them. And I usually say something that the value of belonging to this should go beyond monetary terms. There's some patriotism that should be in it, and that's part of the things we should sell. Look, belonging to us or belonging to a club 100, adding your efforts to that should go beyond what investment am I going to get, and how does this benefit me. Once you operate, under our umbrella in Ghana, we should begin to sell that to them. That look, belonging to this is what it means to us. And when the whole environment that is bigger than just the space you operate in thrives, you automatically thrive. So I think the first point, of course, is to engage them, have a deep conversation with them, and that conversation behind all closed doors, and at some certain level to understand what really their issues are. Because sometimes we can think they just don't want to belong because they think the value proposition, it doesn't sit well with them.
Right.
But it could be deeper than that. I mean, some people say the devil is in the detail. So we will have to have that particular kind of stakeholder conversation with them, and that conversation should then advise the whole redesign or the reformulation of the value proposition to them. Because if we also focus so much on the value we want to give to only these players, we will start another war. And in the past, over 2-3 years, one of the concerns before KPMG came on was we have too many savings and loan microfinance in it. And we had to look at
that conversation.
I look at the list. I look at the list over the last times we've been in it, and I've seen that there's been a balance. We are not at the perfect state yet, but it's it's improved.
Is it not something you intentionally did to kick out the our
Definitely
dear
not.
rural banks?
No. I see how you're spinning this. It's
Is
never
it not something you did to do
It's
that?
never a deliberate action to it. No.
So
But
what was it? What was it?
You know the methodology we adopted from you in conversations, stakeholder conversations.
Right.
So if it comes to deliberation, I should look at the GIPC. Did you deliberately?
No.
Should we go that way?
You are the ranking consultant, so we listen to your advice.
No. So I mean, back to our.
Please go ahead. But it will be interesting to highlight a few details on what that methodology has evolved into,
Right.
so that now the ranking itself has become more robust than we thought it was in the past.
Right.
So it'll be good to just give us a little highlight on that as well.
So anytime we are, as the KPMG is called to speak on the methodology, we try to give a clear-cut difference in what we do in the process, because in as much as we have a rigor in our tool and our systems to do the quality checks and the sorting out, we also have a process that's prior to that should help us for let me use my words carefully, to do pre-screening before. And that's when we request that companies submit their TCCs, submit some business registration documents, and then they have audited financial statements. So this, if you fail these criteria, so we call this the eligibility criteria. If we don't see this, we wouldn't even proceed to rank you. But what we do in that instance, we engage the company to let them know that, look, we've seen financial statements, but they are not signed off by the auditors. And then we can't just because of that, we can't adopt the figures in it. Largely the process we go through, we pick a lot of information from the financial statements. So the eligibility criteria is very important. So after that, then we subject them to where we have the size, the growth, the profitability, and then our waiting on the very topical issue now in every serious board conversation, which is sustainability and ESG, and how we are measuring them along 4 proxies. We are looking at CSR spend, we are looking at employment cost, we are looking at reinvestment, and then we are looking at taxation. Along these proxies, we are looking at different things. CSR spend, one thing we realized is a lot of companies say they're doing something CSR or CSI from our last stakeholder engagement. Someone likely said that it could be an initiative or something. So people speak.
But how do you validate those things from your end? Because if you're looking at CSR spend, are you just looking at are you taking the financial statement and looking at the spend that they have put in there? And then if you talk about sustainability, or maybe those variables can help. You look at CSR spend, you look at employability, taxation, all of that will be in the last one was so you have CSR spend, taxation,
there's reinvestment, so that's net capex.
But the sustainability bit,
right,
how do you validate that?
Excellent. So now we are laying chief emphasis on audited financial statement. Your audited financial statement will show your employment cost, will show your deliberate CSR spend, will show what you're paying in taxes, and will show your reinvestment. So if you're financial services, we'll look at how you're increasing your capitalization. If you're not, we look at your net capex spending. So for the areas on sustainability not being too much of a financial index, how are we going to deal with it? I mean, I'm happy you asked. I don't want to preempt. I'm thinking at some point in our conversation we'll get to how we are looking forward to advancing the methodology, looking at current global standards and global, how we are catching up with the global space. So we are looking at in the near to far future adding some qualitative perspectives. So that involves visits to the businesses, looking at what they are doing, and that will have its own weight. I mean, that will definitely take us more time to finish, but given our time and given what we've been doing over there, we are looking at just the financial statements for this time. But there's already conversations with GIPC and then with stakeholders to look at some qualitative indices especially along the sustainability and ESG.
Qualitative.
Yes, some will be a good blend of both. So that's it with
Lovey Senior. So for us in collating and supporting the work of the ranking consultant, what are some of the usual mistakes that companies or you have seen companies make that going forward we think should it be properly rectified or looked at, it would enhance the work of those companies?
One essentially has to do with the issue of tax clearance.
Right.
Those are some of the omissions of the companies when they make entries. TCC is, in a lot of situations, a necessary requirement for various transactions, not necessarily GC100. GC100 is, one off event, right. An annual event. But when it comes to other transactions, TCC is required. Right. So as part of your responsibility as a company, you should have such documentation, in readiness for any necessary transaction that may come. Right. All right. And then it's also important for participants or entrants to the GC100 to be aware of the fact that it is an annual event. And, right. and for that matter, it happens usually in the third quarter or fourth quarter of each year. So way in advance, you could, start.
If you want to be part of it.
If you want to be part of it, you could start preparing towards making the entries. And once you hear that GIPC has opened entries for the GC100, you don't have too much of a challenge making the entries. Another issue has to do with the signing off of their audited accounts.
That is before you go on that. Look, and this I'm not trying to be mischievous or anything, but very recently we in the experience of collating this documentation, the company in question has not signed off. Right, we requested that they go ahead and sign off before they send the audited financials. And maybe we have to speak to this very clearly so that it is understood by the audience. Okay. As soon as we made a request to sign, they took the documentation. They signed on an A4 sheet, I guess, right? And then they put it on the document, scanned it. And the interesting thing about it was they had, for the signatories, they had Director 1, Director 2.
Okay.
Signed. And you could see that it's been scanned from another sheet, pasted on, signed on an A4 sheet, put on the document and scanned and sent. Immediately I called back and I said, I didn't want to say that what kind of dubious thing are you guys doing here?
It's obviously dubious.
Look, I realize that you've just done this. You scanned the thing and put it on there. Please go back and do the right thing. And for you at your end, I think these are some of the queries you have with us. I mean, the KPMG will call and say, but the thing is not signed.
Exactly.
So I think I'm just saying that to buttress the point that the signatories bit is important.
Very crucial.
So yes. Please go ahead and make it, drum it in, because we need the audience to really understand.
We need confidence from their auditors that we are okay with their financials, because we are laying too much reliance on that, and auditors have that independent position, so that helps KPMG to rely on the figures, so we can have a fair position.
Okay.
So if the auditor signature is not there, we can't take.
Do you have
figures.
any like? If you say auditor, how do you mean?
I mean the financial auditor. So they are. ICAG has that list. So I'll leave that to ICAG. They have the list of their auditors, registered auditors. So
do you require that registered auditor must indicate that they are registered with?
Okay, so we use the list. We have the list. We have the ICAG list. So KPMG does. A little at the face level. Then we look at those things, because we want, if there's a question around anything, we show you that ICAG is published this. So ICAG has their list of auditors. So we check, we see that our auditors, ICAG is licensed that person. That's our watchdog in the country.
Do you do same for the Club 100 audited financials? Do you compare your list you have to the auditors list to the list of auditors that sign the financial statements before you give us a go?
We do some level of assurance, but then I'll throw that back to the GIPC. GIPC should I mean, see, if you see an auditor, there are auditors that are popular, and I'm in no way saying popularity means you do a good job or you do
KPMG or is that what you're trying to say?
No, I'm not trying to say.
You are
I have to
trying
be
blow
careful.
your own trumpet because now KPMG is an auditor. They are trying to say that if they don't request the services of KPMG to audit their financials, then it means that financial statement is not as it doesn't match the IC.
I mean, I'll never say that. That's too audacious a statement.
Please,
I'm also not saying that our audit is not the best or the top notch.
Goodness! But
I mean, I'm saying that. I'm not saying what you said, but I'm also not taking away from the quality and excellence of our work.
Hey.
That we do. Oh, I mean, I'm the advertisement. We invest in our people.
Okay.
So
okay.
I'm blue-blooded. KPMG.
We understand. We understand.
Yeah.
But that's an interesting one. I like us to move slightly to. First off, I mean, KPN, you have spoken a lot,
Right.
but I don't know if we touched on how you became ranking consultants for the Club 100 Awards event. Have you touched on it?
No, I haven't spoken so much.
It's not to give you free advertisement, but just tell us how you got to become the ranking consultant for the award scheme starting the 19th edition
Right.
and 20th edition, and now you are still in the fray for the 21st edition.
Right. So
Just-
I put in a say. I mean, I'll be brief, but it's like a story. I mean, some 2 years ago, and you have to help me because it's both your process, our process, and then
Okay, great,
PPA in it. So you floated an RFP for expression of interest on at the time
Right,
a redesign of the whole awards.
right.
Some 2 years ago, and it came to KPMG. KPMG, one thing we do is we are proactive with looking for these things, whether a newsletter, an online portal. So one of our BD guys, business development guys, got it, sent it to the right department. That's rightfully led by Joycelyn Coleman, our partner.
Right.
She says she tables to the team. We have a discussion. We write around it. So then, after you have some pre-qualification
Right.
thing, you take that through, and after that, and going through, then you now respond to us that you are shortlisted or selected from the expressions you made. Now go ahead and then table a proposal, a full-blown proposal, which we did.
Right.
And after that proposal, then discussions advanced that, and then looking at this, let's look at this scope this way, and then go ahead and do it. So there was definitely floating of a request for EOI, which we responded to, successfully gone through the proposal stage, went through successfully, and then we got to negotiations where I think your team likes a lot. So we table our financial proposal as well, and there was conversation around it. We felt we were the most competitive in the room, competitive price-wise and then technical score-wise, and we did that.
So what would you say your impact has been on the award scheme so far?
Our impact.
Your impact. What would you say your impact as KPMG? What has been the impact of KPMG on the award scheme today?
Okay, so I'll start this way. I mean, we are known in town as the award firm. We boast of so many awards
How many
that we do in
awards have
town.
you guys?
We do the awards for Ghana Health Service. We do for Vodafone. I need to mention Ghana Telecom, Vodafone, and now Telecel. You understand? So that's how long we've gone through their different structures and we've understood it.
Okay.
We do for CIG, and that's for the insurance companies. We did one recently for BOG's FinTech something, and we do many others. I'm not a part of all those projects. So when it comes to that, if you take a quick sample in universities, we do those outreaches as part of our CSR initiatives.
Okay.
When you go there, one of them says, some people say, I know the award company, because they see us on VGMAs, now TGMAs, as presenting awards. So there's social currency that
You
KPMG
haven't-
does.
He hasn't answered that
I'll
question.
come to that. I'll definitely come to that. Don't worry. So the social currency that once KPMG touches your award, you're sure that you have some credibility, a lot, and you have some fairness and transparency. So the impact we've brought,
Okay.
obviously, definitely, we brought some added clarity. We do a lot of stakeholder engagement. We join you literally for your radio shows, your stakeholder engagements. We bring that to bear. And then one thing that I'm proud of, and I also said this to the applause of GIPC, is how forward-looking the center is. And I'll say that to how you are accepting of the conversation on the sustainability and ESG. That's one of the things that's clear. In our engagement, we ask that we tweak that weighting up
Senior,
for that.
He's flattering us now.
So I'm
Trying
saying
to
that,
flatter us.
oh, no, it's not flattering, it's a plot.
It's a fact, actually.
It's a fact. So
yes, it's a fact.
That's one impact. So with your support, we've been able to drive that. And to drive that in Ghana's business to the sustainability and ESG. Because boards, some people say serious boards outside the country are having serious conversations on this. So to have the GIPC support us to enact that is one of the big impacts I look back at KPMG's efforts, and then I sit with pride on. Thank you.
Thank you. I mean, we are always happy to partner with the best of the best.
Yeah,
Again,
just
go ahead.
to indicate that throughout the history of the Ghana Club 100, the process of engaging the ranking consultant has been competitive. So
very much so.
When we look back, some years ago, we had other consultants handling the ranking bit of the awards. So over the years, we've had other consultants like EY.
Right.
Yeah. So it's been a competitive process. We request for expressions of interest, and then when the interest is expressed, we evaluate and then engage with them further. So the procurement process, is initiated, and we go through the process to the conclusion and settling on the consultant that handles it. And KPMG has been the consultant that has been engaged since the 19th edition. It's been a competitive process. Right.
Thank you.
Right. We are trying to kind of wrap up now, but I like to put in two things before we wrap up. Number one would be on, I think Bernard has made given quite some summary on our forward nature with ESG, sustainability issues and stuff like that. But I'd like us to now focus on our milestone, the 20th edition. I mean, I would have loved for us to, walk back in the history a bit and see what the different shades have been. For Bernard and team, you have at least witnessed 19th and 20th. For some of us, we've witnessed quite a number of them, so we can catalog that walk in history. But I want us to focus on the 20th edition. What for
You mean 21st edition?
I mean the 20th edition. 21st edition, we are now going to do it. So
okay, all right.
The 20th edition, what were the key highlights in terms of, if you look at the criteria, if you look at the ambience, the experience, if you look at all of those variables, what was the experience for KPMG? Now that you speak not as Bernard but as KPMG, what was it for you guys?
I mean, thank you for that. I'll piggyback off initial discussions as we were planning, and I'm thankful again that GIPC ropes us on early for those discussions to happen.
Right.
And we get to understand the theme for the center, what you're looking at. And we're coming from, it was post-COVID era, and it's your 20th. So you're looking at the business environment, and you're looking at doing this bigger. So at the time, I think it was in this room or another room, there was a conversation on.
It was actually in this room.
There was a conversation on measuring how businesses have been resilient through the time.
Yeah.
And then the onus now lies on the next stakeholder engagement on how to translate that into a methodology that accounts for that. So we realized that there was conversation around companies that will thrive throughout that. And so we're looking keenly at companies that leveraged IT, companies that were more socially forward. Those were the things that were reflected along and that's when the discussion of the ESG was becoming louder in this room. So to say that, to look at just the 19th and the 20th, obviously discussion around impactful business on the sustainability end was more. And then we realized, looking back when we have those meetings, that companies that leverage technology were amongst those who were thriving in that space. So the 20th edition marked two things for me and two things for if personally, and then I'll say from our study, that leveraging technology in those times and then being more socially impactful had an impact on the business environment. Then to the ambience, looking at the 20th and the 19th. I mean, from a personal view, I realized that was bigger. There was some intentionality in the choice of even how things were done, and the protocols around the doing of the stuff. I mean, it was different from the 19th. I was like, okay, the 20th, and it was marked. That was the intention was to do it. This is our 20th. Yeah. So right from the methodology discussions, the tweakings, and then getting to the ambience. I mean, I had a wonderful experience. In that night, our work is we are basking in in what we call like the fall of our work, looking at the impact or the end result, and then see you guys. It was a wonderful experience, from food to choice of music to your presenters, even to how you did well with time than the 19th edition. So the experience was better than 19th. So I'm just having a two-way comparison then, and then definitely was reflected in the methodology as well. So thank you very much.
For us, it was work as usual. We're working the ninth room.
I think it's been an exciting experience. As you indicated, it's a combination of work and moments of trying to enjoy the occasion, what is ongoing, and the amount of work that you've put in, what the outcome is. So it's been an exciting experience. I quite remember fondly my first experience many years ago, about 17 years ago. Not 17, but
I feel like
15. I think my first GC100 experience was in 2009. Yes, I think then.
What happened? Like briefly. 2009.
2009.
2023's edition. Like,
yes.
What's the difference? Like,
yes, you will say that.
I'm sure it was ecstatic in the beginning because it was the first time.
Yes, it was. But then making a comparison with where we are presently, I think we've pretty much advanced. We've made a lot of progress in terms of the occasion, the ambience. Those days, we usually had the event at the
State House.
State House, yes.
State House?
Yeah, the State House. Yeah, the State House. And GIPC staff were the main, organizing it. But over the years, we realized it was critical to get into partnerships, bring on board partners to improve the event. So we've moved a lot. We've made a lot of progress, and there is more to be achieved anyway.
Okay, so quickly, what would be your expectation for the 21st edition?
My expectation.
What is it?
Yeah, exactly. My expectation to draws largely for my experiences over the years, and how sometimes when we are done with our engagement with the people, those are and how the results want to look like, how they're coming out after they're going through quality reviews. You see people moving neck and neck, shoulder for shoulder. You see what people would term the larger companies, and see what people term, pardon me, the smaller size companies looking like they want to. That's usually my bliss point in such instances. And that's away from my work, I'll say the one expectation I have. This port series is even increasing my expectation, or let me say further making it, because to have a whole port series on an edition, before an edition, or to during that time, that shows the consciousness, like the intentionality behind it. And as you said, you always want to do something better than you did last year. So I'm looking forward to, as again, we all have the time as our KPI on both ends, as we are partners on this, and we are looking at patronage. Much more patronage from more people during, and then even in the after party. We also wait that this time. We hope that people don't leave early. They have time to jam. That's on a personal, So that's basically.
All right. Senior, what are the expectations you have for this year?
Well, I think already looking at the entries that we've received this year, I think we've witnessed a considerable improvement in the numbers of entries. Personally, I'm expecting so much more diversity in terms of the companies that show up in the 100, the top 100. We've had quite, a number of companies repeatedly showing up over the years. I am hopeful that we would have new companies.
It will cause problems.
New companies showing up in the list. That notwithstanding, we are confident that KPMG will do their work, and the companies that are deserving would carry the day.
Any final words? Any final thoughts? Let's from the teams. We are working together on this one. Any final words, Brandon?
Mine is from a deep sense of gratitude. I'm always watchful on that because it's been good. It's been good 3 editions with the GIPC, and I mean from a point of collaboration, it's been good. It's gone both ways for us. Good on our end, good on your end, and we're always happy to do this collaboration, and it gives us, this kind of opportunities to have conversations, take us close to stakeholders, and us also puts it on the pedestal to showcase the excellence we have.
To brag about yourselves.
Excellence sells itself. I think that's how I put it. So
all right.
Definitely, that's
right. Senior, any final words?
We appreciate the support of all stakeholders. Of course, KPMG is one, but we do have quite a number of sponsors in the pipeline. I'm not sure if this is the right occasion to make mention of them. We are not prepared to for this particular program, but then I'm sure. No. I don't have those details, so apologies on that. But then, I'm sure companies that are watching know themselves. The gate for sponsorship is still open, and we will encourage companies to come on and sponsor. There are pretty much exciting packages for sponsors, so companies are encouraged to come on board and partner the center to successfully execute this year's GC100.
So, having had their final word, I have a final word, which would be: remember that this is the GC100 edition of the GIPC Live Series. It's a podcast series, of course, that is to discuss the issues we've discussed right now, and we are looking forward to seeing you on the next episode. Thank you.